Hello everyone and welcome to another review. Today we're going to go ahead and review a fragrance from the house of Hermes. Now this fragrance was released in the year 2014. It's one of the newer fragrances and it is also from the house of Hermes, and it's also a flanker for one of Hermes's main designer fragrances. Fragrance we're going to go ahead and review today is called Terre de Hermes Eau Très Fraiche. Now, Eau Très Fraiche is a fragrance that was, again, released in the year 2014. It's a newer take on the original Terre de Hermes fragrance that was released some time ago, basically. It was made by Jean-Claude Helena, which at this point has, kind of piqued my interest a little bit more when people were like, gotta get your nose on this, you gotta smell this one, just because in general it's been such a great fragrance perfumer that I figured, you know what, it's actually a good time to go ahead and try it. So as you can see from the infographic, the bottle, the shape, and the appearance of Eau Très Fraiche is very similar to the exact same one as the original Terre de Hermes fragrance, basically. So the main difference with the two is the Eau Très Fraiche version has a white top, whereas the original has a black top and is very, but other than that, it's got a lighter colorway to signalize, I guess, the fresh version of it. All right. The price of this, you can find it in one main size, which is 2.5 ounces, and you can find it on sale generally for about $85 retail. I haven't really seen it in much places for any much of a discount, so it's still pretty much up there in terms of price. So it just might be one thing I want to keep in mind for this fragrance. All right, so it is a little bit on the, I guess, a slightly more expensive side for a designer fragrance. Not too expensive, and it's still within the designer fragrances realm as far as price goes, but it is around that area. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and get right into the review. Start with the notes. The notes of this fragrance consist of, at our top, we have orange, citrus, and water notes. For our mid, we have geranium. And for our base, we have woody notes, patchouli, and cedar. Right, so originally when I smelled this fragrance, right away it reminded me immediately of the original Terre de Hermes fragrance, and it reminded me so much so of it. It had that aromatic, airy quality to it, and kind of like the same DNA that the original has. One of the main differences right off the bat, though, that become immediately apparent is the fact that this one has like a lemon limey type of a scent to it. It's got a lemon limey citrus type of a scent that kind of evolves more into a bright orange citrus scent. Very different from the original, which has this dirty orange, earthy, down-to-earth scent, basically. So this one is a lot brighter on the top and remains that way throughout the entire fragrance in terms of the citrusy notes for it. Now, the other home run area on this fragrance is the water notes, the C notes that it introduces into this fragrance. It comes off a little bit salty on it, which I really like for this fragrance, which I think gives it a lot more depth to the actual scent. Now, this one really reminds me of a cross between, I want you to imagine the original Terre de Hermes scent, and I want you to imagine Orange Sanguine from Atelier. Take that, squash that into the fragrance, and you're going to have that kind of a top to it. Add in a little bit of a C note type of vibe to it, and that's pretty much what you're getting from the fresh version of Terre de Hermes. Now, it's got a lot of depth. It's very pleasant. It really stays on your skin and gives off that same vibe throughout the actual fragrance life, which is about 8 to 10 hours on my skin. It has great projection. The sillage, a little bit not so much. It's not going to really leave a huge scent trail behind you, but you don't really need to anyway. That's pretty much one of the, I guess you could say, if you're looking for a fragrance with a great sillage, this might not be the scent for you, but it will have good projection. All right. Now, again, long-lasting, good projection. I personally use about 4 sprays on myself. I go generous on this fragrance just because it is a little bit more of a summer fragrance, and I like my summer fragrances to project. I generally tend to go a little bit heavier on my summer fragrances spray-wise than I do my winter ones, because they tend to, I really like the scent, and they don't tend to be cloying enough that they will choke other people out if you're generally careful with the scent. But anyways, occasion-wise, I like this fragrance for almost any occasion that I can actually feel. Work, casual, date, just going out, at night. I think it's perfect for the months of the spring months and the summer months. The months where it's warm, where it's hot, where the temperature is up a little bit. The scent like perfectly matches that. It's really fantastic for that. Could I see you wearing it for the winter? Sure, I could, but I really think that this scent really fits more of the warm weather scents, more of the warm weather appearances than any other type of a scenario. Age group, I think any age group can go ahead and pull this one off. Whether you be young, whether you be old, I think you can actually pull this one off perfectly fine. And one of the best things about this scent is the compliments that this scent will get you. This scent got me quite a few compliments in the times that I was testing it, and that really has not stopped throughout this whole time, to the point where even though I was testing off of samples, I was like, whoa, I have definitely got to get myself a bottle of this scent. The compliments that it was getting was from men, from women, you name it. It was just grounding the whole, I mean, what is there else but men and women? But either way, you get my drift. It doesn't matter what your background is. It seems to be universally well-liked and well-loved. It's just a fantastic fragrance for that. And I have to say, a welcome addition for a flanker for the Terre de Hermes line. All right? Now, if I'm going to go ahead and give this scent a rating, I give this scent a rating a perfect 10 out of 10. I was trying really hard to think of things that I could do to take away points from this fragrance, but I really couldn't come up with any solid reasons. The only solid reason that I could possibly think of is if you didn't like the original Terre de Hermes and you thought it was because of like that aromatic kind of, it has almost this rough quality at it's hard to describe for me to describe. It's not rough in that it's cheap or anything like that, but rough in that it does something else with it. If you didn't like that quality from the original, then you probably won't like this. Outside of that, I think the smell is top notch. I think it did an excellent job. It kind of goes up to the name. It exceeded what I thought they would come out or do with this. Basically, I thought they might have just done what most fragrance companies do and make it lighter and call it the Fraiche version. That's not what they did with this one at all. It retains the strength that the original had with it, and it just goes off in a different direction. The price point. Sure, the price is a little bit high. This might be my only gripe towards it, but it's not too high enough that I'm like, I have to really think about this purchase. It's still within my price range, and I still within most people's price range. It's on the higher end, and you only get a 2.5, but I gotta say, it's still within, price range. Performance, excellent performance for a citrus. Again, most citruses don't last a long time, so for this one to last like it does is an excellent factor. Compliments, off the wazoo, great compliments, and it's a highly versatile fragrance that you can use for almost any scenario you can think of. So the 10 out of 10, to me, I think it's perfectly warranted. Excellent fragrance. It will definitely be purchased by me. The only reason I don't have it just yet is because of the fact that we're saving up for the wedding. We're saving up for, purchasing a house soon after, and there's just a lot of expenses that we're saving up for, and I promised not to really go into it and purchase fragrances basically off of it. So until we're actually finished with that. Then after that's done, I'm probably going to drop like $2,000 immediately and get these fragrance bottles that I've been looking at and have really wanted to get. All right, so let me know what your thoughts are on this fragrance. It's been out for almost a year now at this point. I think a little bit over a year. But either way, let me know what your thoughts are on this fragrance. I'm always curious to hear. This is a masterpiece in my mind. I just absolutely love it, and I'm shocked that I haven't had a chance to smell it before. Anyways, thank you. Take care of yourselves, and you guys have a great day.